Alright, let me show you what's going on here with the wheelchair ramp. It's raining here. Special treat for Arizona. And cool us off from this heat wave we're experiencing. So earlier I posted that I show you how to make the ramp, building it backwards and hanging everything down. So let's go look at it and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so I build my forms in, and then what I done is I take the posts and I braced them like this, because I don't want them to move. I want to pour concrete around that, okay? So these are all just temporary posts in here, and then I'll pour the concrete in different stages and I'll strip the forms as I go, and these posts will stay where they should be. Now, you see my ledger against the wall right there? That's the slope of the ramp. It's hard to see with all these bracing, but that slope did end up just under 1 in 12, so I'm code compliant as far as slope goes. And I got these little angle brackets down here, the post bases. They're for the heavy duty. And I did it like this because I'm not going to have any meat to go into with the wood right there. Does that make sense? Like if you look up here, it's not a problem, because you see all the meat I have too. So I got a point down there that's going to be solid, a point here solid, and it's going to be really hard for that post to shake back and forth. So I'm comfortable putting those post bases there. But down here, where I'm at the end of the ramp, I got no meat to lag into. So you see how far that post base goes down? That's going to be in the concrete, and that concrete's going to hold it solid and lock it in. And you notice I oriented it this way, like this, because I don't want the post to do this. So if I would have oriented it the other way, the bracket's weaker that way. It doesn't matter, because once I have the top rail on through here, it's going to lock the end post, so it's not going to go like this, if that makes sense. So now you see I've also put a string on these. I just leveled these up off the house, but I put the string here. Tomorrow I need to go back and I need to fine tune this, because that string's too far away. See that? I need to get that post over a little bit, because I don't care what the level tells me, I care what the string tells me. Because when I take all these braces off and I put the railing on, I want that to be a nice straight line. And so if they're a little bit out of plumb, that's okay. I want it on the string. And it should all work out fine, because you see how I got the bottom one? The bottom one's on the string. I've hung all this down, and this is all held in place by stakes. Later, when I come back and I build my little wall right there, then those stakes will get taken out and I won't use those anymore. And so then you see up here on this platform, I started doing the railing, because the railing is going to lock these posts in place, and it's going to keep those bases right where they should be, okay? I could do all this with my laser level, but I'd have to do it at night. I don't have one of those fancy Stabila laser levels that'll sit and beep at you. So I don't really know where the marks are in the concrete, and I don't want to try to use batter boards and strings. So the way I found the best way to do this is just hang your posts down off your framing and then pour around them, and then they'll stay in place, they'll stay in line like you want them to. So that's how we're doing this. Now I don't have the post right here for this one because I ran out of time, but it's going to be the same thing, because I don't have really a lot of meat to tie that post into. So that's why I'm using those monster Simpson post bases like that, okay? So we'll see how it works once I get everything framed up in, but I'm really close to where I can pour some concrete tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow or the next day, I don't know. I think what I want to do is I want to pour this bigger section first. This landing right here. This landing and this little stair. And then once that sets up, I can take that form off and I can do that lower section, because it's an 1.5 inch drop. So I put the rebar into the house so that the step doesn't settle right there. You know, I think I'm going to have pretty good luck there. Now, right here on this end, I have a subscriber who is a civil engineer, and shout out to Randy at Salmus Engineering. He said, why is there a big drop off at the end of the ramp? He said, well, why can't you just make a step like you did over there? I said, well, I don't like that drop off either, but I'm building on a hill, and so I don't want to put a step here, because then to my first step right here, it'll be like 4 inches, and then by the time I get clear over here, it'll be like 10 inches. So I thought, this step's not going to work there. So anyway, we don't know what we're going to do yet. We've talked about putting a retaining wall right here and then grading it up so that if the wheelchair does go wild and start running down there, and then it has some gravel to stop on or whatever. Or if we don't do a runaway ramp, then we can do a gate. We could post up right here, post up right there, and do a gate. I don't want to put a railing there because I want the car to be able to back up right here, and then when you unload groceries, boom, you got a straight shot. So it's like a little mini loading dock, okay? So I don't want to lose this access. Now, where the wheelchair is going to embark, like I said the other day, is right here, okay? So I think it's still going to be okay. The reason I could not have dropped this down any lower right here is because then I get steeper than my 1 in 12 slope. So that's why I made my mind up to keep it like it was. And the only other thing to do would have been to rip that door out and push the door over that way another 3 feet, but no, that's way too much work. So this is going to work out. And anyway, I hope this gives you an idea. If you're planning on doing a wheelchair ramp or just even a deck, I mean, it's pretty easy to just put your posts in solid by hanging them down and then concreting around them. So stay tuned, and we'll show you some concrete on the next video maybe.